Toby, oh Toby, what has become of you? The world's much nicer whenever we see you. It's safe to say that, like Henry, Toby has had a quite turbulent journey across the series. Started off being saved by the Northwestern Railway, to then serving as a mentor figure to Percy, to starring in the show's token disaster episode, to going into the unknown and discovering abandoned parts of the island, to then being a bit of a self-conscious wimp. Albeit with the assistance of the best portrayal of Henrietta in the series history. I think today's episode is gonna be interesting to say the least, as, like the other characters, I have quite a bit to talk about when covering Toby. So, sit back and relax, as I cover the old wooden tram engine himself. Buckle up, folks. Toby is old, but wise, hardworking, and knowledgeable enough about running branch lines to justify running Thomas's with Daisy after Percy's accident until Thomas came back. He is also savvy enough to control the trucks. However, his advanced age and design means that he is weaker than the other engines. While Reddy is always ready to work hard without any fuss, he can be a bit temperamental sometimes, especially when young and inexperienced engines who are full of themselves make things difficult for him, particularly Mavis and Daisy. However, work at the quarry line often soothes off his moods without any cause of grief to anyone, except of course his old faithful coach, Henrietta. Toby can usually be more cheerful and friendly, as well as having subtle shades of nervousness on top of being placid and easygoing, such as enjoying the peace and quiet of the countryside along Thomas's branch line. He even enjoys listening to the birds in the birdhouse next to his shed and is friends with the pigs in Farmer Trotter's pig farm. Although usually nervous and timid at times, and occasionally complaining in bad working conditions, Toby usually maintains a healthy sense of humor and is not above laughing at juvenile level antics. In terms of the tram engine's VAs, like some of the other characters, there's quite a few ones to talk about, starting off with Patrick Breed, his actor in the Magic Railroad workprint. Breed's voice for Toby is alright. He doesn't have that many lines in the workprint, let alone the final film itself, so I don't have that much to say in terms of that. It's fine. I've got nothing. Next is the actor who they officially casted as Toby in the final film, Colm Feore. This guy really does a very good job of voicing Toby in the final film. He definitely captures that wise and brave side to Toby's character we saw in the show prior. Definitely a good pick for Toby's VA in the film. Now on to the CGI series voice actors. Starting off with Ben Small. Wow, we're not starting off with Keith Wickham for once, look at that. Ben's voice for Toby is definitely an interesting voice for this guy, but like Keith Wickham's Percy voice, it's definitely a product of its time voice. But it does get better over time, for better or for worse depending on who you ask. Then we have William Hope. I'm sorry, but this has to be the worst US voice I have ever seen for a character. Just what even is this Toby voice? You're trying to tell me that this sounds like Toby?
Bust my buffers! These woods are too scary for me.
Nah, and it's not like Hope got any better. If anything, he was just consistent with how bad he is. He has his merits, but definitely an awful voice for our favourite tram engine. And finally, we have Rob Rackstraw, who voiced Toby in the UK dub starting with season 19. and he is definitely my go-to voice when it comes to Toby. Him and Maggie Olorenshaw bounce off of each other so brilliantly. Like Tug said in his Sonor's Finest on Toby, it's like a grandma and grandpa who banter with each other and know exactly what the other is going to say always. It's charming and wholesome, and Rob delivers a wonderful performance as Toby. Even if he acts like a coward sometimes, but still a fantastic voice for the character. I think it's pretty obvious what Toby's standout episode is. It's Toby and the Flood. This is one of the most action-packed episodes from the whole show I have ever seen. I mean, a dam collapsing? Holy sh**! And Toby was handled really well in this season. Season 5 was definitely his best season of the whole show, without a doubt. He had some real standout moments this season. This episode and Toby's discovery are definitely some of his best episodes this season. Toby Had a Little Lamb also deserves a shout out. I just love how determined Toby is to get Farmer McColl's lambs to safety. What a Chad. I also think that this is one of the few Season 6 episodes that looks pretty good. I know I'm definitely not the first person to complain about Season 6's ugly visuals, but the chilling atmosphere with the snow makes them all the more better in my opinion. But that may just be me. Now sadly, during the hit era, Toby started to regress as a character, becoming always self-conscious about something. You could say that this persona kinda started in Toby's discovery, but the only reason why he's scared in that episode is because he's in a situation that we're not familiar with. It's when being scared and worried becoming a character's default trait really rubs me the wrong way. Season 8 was unfortunately the start of this. Although, You Could Do It Toby was, admittedly, a little better than I thought, but it's still pretty weak. Episodes though, like Toby's Afternoon Off and Toby's Triumph, are where the worried persona reaches its nadir. Toby's had some stinkers without a doubt, but honestly, my pick for his worst is, and get ready for this one, Toby and the Whistling Woods. Why in the hell would Toby be scared shitless of forest noises? Granted, they make you think that they're scary, but still, like being scared of the wind? Seriously? Being scared of a fucking owl? Honest to God, Toby, get a fucking grip, will ya? Oh, and why in the hell are James and Thomas shunting trucks just out in the open? Don't even blame whoever crashes into your trucks who sped down this line. God, I hate the nitrogen era so much. The Christmas Tree Express and Signals Crossed are also up there as real duds for Toby, especially the former. Like, how come Toby's scared of Misty Island when he's been there a few times without issue? And as much as Toby acted as a wuss in the latter, at least Henrietta's portrayal in this story more so makes up for that. That's more than I could say about the former two, that's for sure. It's a shame that, out of all the characters I've covered in this series, Henry and Toby have both taken the brunt of character assassination. In fact, I'd say Toby's regression is almost the same as Maggie's if you think about it, being one thing that gets tiring so fast. But that's not to say that Toby's had some real standouts, cause he definitely has. Although, I think that out of all the Thomas characters I've covered so far, Toby is probably the weakest out of the whole bunch. which is saying a lot, because he's definitely not a bad character by any means, and that there are far worse characters in this godforsaken show. I'm looking at you, you orange c***. But Toby is still great. It's just a pity that he's had more bad seasons than good. But man, those first 5 seasons got him so right. Even season 6 and 7 did him well. It's just a pity that season 8 or so onwards treated him like shit. And to be honest, I think that after Hasty Hannah ended, it's clear that the Blobber era struggled with Toby. Michael White did him well in Heart of Gold, whereas his portrayal in the Adventure Spectacular Bridge was... But hey, at least it was nice to see the old trestle bridge from season 6 again. Regardless, Toby is definitely a great character. Just not up there in the top 5. Still a top 10 character though. An oldie but a goldie, we all still care about him. And that concludes another installment in the second iteration of the character highlight reel. I'm sorry if I was a little harsh in this episode. It's just that, despite being a great character, Toby has definitely had his lows. But don't worry, the next characters video will be a lot more positive, as tomorrow's video will be diving into our favourite Great Western engine himself, Montague, aka Good Old Duck. And if you don't want to miss out on me covering this guy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to not miss out on the newest content. And until next time, bye guys.